All right, welcome to Action 6 of the Individual Player Development Plan. We are at the part where now we analyze the growth and review. So after the one-on-one meetings from the first 6 weeks and the 12 weeks, we will discuss if the targets have been met from both on the field and data standpoints. Now, depending on your circumstance, you may only have the on the field description of the data. Now, what is extremely important is that the on-field evaluations will be able to show you or tell you if the player is implementing the goals established for the training and game standpoints. And the data is going to be a qualitative number for you to show if the player is progressing from a game standpoint. So what you're going to do now is I'm going to show you the following steps for a weapon and a weakness. Okay, so looking at the weapon first, which was our shooting ability from range 18 to 30 yards with both feet, and our 3 agreed improvement areas, right? The first one was choice of technique for shooting distance. The second was striking the ball with the power technique, separating from the defender to create an angle to shoot. So you can see here, after the first 6 weeks, the player was graded, and we noticed that over time that the choice of technique wasn't improved enough, so we gave them a needs improvement, so that's something to continue to work on. The second was striking the ball with the power technique. We did spend some specific time trying to develop this, but it's still not to the level that we want, so we need to keep pushing it. But we did see significant growth from the separation from defender to create an angle to shoot, which means that they're trying to move and find pockets to receive the ball to create that shot immediately. And that was from the first 6 weeks. So we're going to continue the process over another 6 weeks to try and hammer home this development process and then see how they grow from there. For the agreed targets from an individual side from a game-based perspective, for the shots per game, this player did not get the 4 that was necessary, so they need to improve. They were getting about 2 per game. And then the on target, they sometimes met, sometimes didn't meet. So the good news is that it was consistent because even though they only got about 2 shots per game, they were still able to sometimes hit the mark. So that means even if they got only 2 shots, they hit the target 2 times. Or maybe they took 2 shots and hit the target once. So it shows that they're getting a little bit consistent or getting a little bit more consistent on their shooting process, so that's beneficial. So there will be another grade at 12 weeks. Okay. Now, if in the example a player absolutely kills it, and you kill this and you're green and all, it might be okay after 6 weeks to move on to the next category. Or it might not. You have to play and see how this works for you. There's no right or wrong answer to this, but it's about the development process of the player in this category for the weapon. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Let's move on to the next one. Looking at this now from the weakness perspective, right? Same exact scenario. Okay. The first one, ability to explode when in possession and recognizing available space is an 8. Okay. Now, we were not able to improve the player's recognition of available space or area to exploit to the level that we were looking for. In terms of increasing the mental speed and go, there was a hit or miss, so you could see that it was improving, but not 100%. But they were able to take that first step to drive forward. So in the scenarios that they did get everything correct, they were able to do it well on that first step. If we're looking at the agreed targets from the individual side, we were not able to break into the 3 speed dribbles, and that was because they didn't recognize the spaces well enough. So if this player is able to recognize those spaces, they can then drive in. Right? On the second one, the end product, they did okay with the end product, and as you can see, shooting is really not an issue for this player. So that's why they were able to get a yellow, because they were still able to get shots from scenarios that they were able to create. So this is how you would do the grade. You would sit down with your coach or with anybody that you're working with this on, have an open discussion about it, and then get a grade. Red, yellow, green, right? Try and have qualitative actions here for you to discuss, and then have those reference points for you. Okay, then this is what's really going to happen, right? You're going to see 2 options. Really, if the targets are met, if the targets are not met. If they are met, you have 2 options. Move to the next set of targets to define and say, okay, we're going to work on these categories now, so we're moving on from the shooting, we move on to the next one. Or continue the same refinement process and then add some small tweaks. So if you, again, have straight greens and feel that that's better, but there's something else you could change, like maybe it's now having a bigger push in front of you to shoot, as an example. That could be something that you do to help continue the development process of that specific strength or weakness, but there's a tweak to the improvement area. The target that is not met, there are really 2 processes. The first one is obviously continue in the same manner, which would be not changing anything and just saying, okay, it's going to need an extra 6 weeks, give or take. And this is done if you see results in the field are showing. If it's not, maybe we need to have some sort of evaluation and make an adjustment because the player's not improving. So maybe it's from a coaching perspective, maybe it's a buy-in from the player, maybe there's something that needs to be adjusted and managed differently to help the player improve. Okay, and that's everything we need to talk about from Action 6. So I'll see you in the next video.